What's going on, everybody? Mike here, AHC Garage. Welcome back to the channel. And yeah, we got another FK8 for somewhat of a spoon makeover. Brian, what do we have here, Brian?
Well, we got a lot of parts over here, and I'm just checking out the inventory of what we got. And let me tell you briefly about what we have planned for this beautiful FK8. It's gonna be one of my first black FK8s that we've ever worked on, so I'm really excited to actually see, you know, the different parts that we're gonna be putting on it. Now, we all know I am the FK8 spoon bumper master, so I'm gonna be put to the test one more time with this beautiful crystal black pearl FK8. Now, if you wanna see a little bit more detail on how we prep and finish these bumpers, make sure you check out the link in the description. We'll show you exactly what we're going to be doing. Now, along with the front bumper or spoon front bumper, we're gonna be going ahead and changing out this OEM hood with a Varis front hood. Now, when we're doing this Varis front hood, we're going to need to actually blend the whole front end. We can see here that our fender has seen some mileage and some minor rock chips. Plus, with the spoon bumper being painted, the hood, we want everything to blend in nicely. So we'll do a refinish of the fenders. And as we move towards the back of the vehicle, we're gonna be changing out the OEM mirrors with our spoon mirrors. It's a beautiful touch to this FK8. You're really gonna love them. We've done them a couple times before here on AHC Garage. Now, moving towards the bottom, we're gonna be replacing this side skirt. It's not gonna be painted, it already comes ready to go. So that would be one of the easier jobs that I have to do. But as we move towards the back door, we have a filler panel here, which is a fiberglass filler panel. And that will kind of connect this rear arch all the way through, so we'll be swooping through. And that's gonna require some work as well because they do come in fiberglass. Now, we're not just gonna paint this part, we're also gonna paint this rear arch here to match. Since the plastic parts on these vehicles are a little bit more faded because they are painted in different areas and different facilities, they don't have the same treatment of this actual chassis. And as we move up towards the back of the car, we all know it's best to re-clear anything carbon fiber, no matter what the brand is. So we'll completely disassemble this spoon spoiler. We'll break it down, we'll sand it down, and we'll give it another coat of our clear coat so it has long-lasting finish. John, what else do we have underneath the engine bay?
All right, guys, so you see all the stuff there. We have Brian. He used to be known as Bumper Brian, and again, I guess he claimed spoon bumper master, so maybe he's gonna hold that title. But nevertheless, underneath the hood, this is my area. We're gonna do some more modifications to this already pretty heavily modified FK8. So as you can see here, he has a upgraded fuel system. I believe this is the PRL intake, but I'm not quite sure. Spoon filter, Han data, the really awesome anti-gravity battery. These things are great. This has the jump button on it right here, beat rush bar, other spoon parts. And the reason we're gonna be doing our next modifications to the car, which is the ACT complete clutch, is because this guy's got an upgraded turbo and he wants to hit over 500. So that stock clutch with 30,000 plus miles on it's not gonna hold up to it. So we'll be putting an ACT upgraded clutch, and with all of the extra heat that's gonna be going through this engine with that high horsepower, we have a KoyoRad radiator, much like the one that's in my car, and that's gonna help us keep the temperatures in spec, and we're gonna pair that with a spoon thermostat. So that being said, this thing should be a pretty powerful car when we're done with it. And reliability is gonna be awesome too. This guy drives this car, he drove it to the tail of the Dragon. That's half the reason the front bumper's not on it. The Dragon claimed his bumper, and now we're gonna put a spoon one on it, and it's gonna look a whole lot better. But moving forward with this build, it should be a pretty awesome one. We haven't done the car in black. It should be pretty easy for Brian. He doesn't have to, you know, deal with pearls and yellows, which can be difficult. So I think this should be pretty neat. You guys follow us for the whole build. It should be enjoyable. All right, so we got the car on the lift. Brian is working on the bumpers right now, and while he's over there doing that, we're gonna go ahead and knock out what we're doing underneath the hood. So what we got to start with is we have our transmission we have to take out. That's gonna involve removing a bunch of these components here. And then we also have the KoyoRad radiator that we're gonna put in. There's some stuff that we're gonna detach up here, but a lot of that happens on the bottom. And when we have the subframe out, we figured we'll just swap it out at the same time, save us some time, make it a little easier. And we also have a spoon thermostat that's going to be a lot easier to get at when everything's off the car from the bottom instead of working up here from the top. So we're going to start by stripping off the plastic here, removing some of the components that block the transmission, like the intake, battery tray, and we'll see once we get underneath there, because this is my first time doing a clutch on an FK8. So hopefully I don't look like a fool when I do it, but I got Mike here to help me, and I know that's the OG. He knows how to do this. He's never done it either. So we'll figure it out. So let's start ripping into it.
And the first thing we're gonna do is disconnect the steering column from inside the vehicle, and John fit inside the cabin pretty good over here.
Thank you.
And once we get that disconnected, we go ahead and jump right back in the hood.
Yeah, anti-gravity. This thing's light. There we go. All right, so we're ready to drop the subframe. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna support the engine, and we have our Honda special tool here. So we're gonna get it set up over it and show you how we're gonna hang the whole thing up. So go ahead and take a watch.
All right, so John just went ahead and took out the bolt for the rear mount. What are we doing here, John?
All right, so we're gonna pop this ball joint here and remove this sway bar link and our outer tie rod end and our sway bar end link. And we should be able to drop the subframe after that. We already disconnected our steering column inside, the electronic portion of the power steering. There's one more plug right there. And that is free. And then it's just a bunch of bolts. And we'll get our subframe jack and drop this thing down. Okay, I'll take it. Woo! Okay.
Yep. Well, 1 second. Pull this down. Ooh. Not bad, John, not bad.
Let's just go ahead and set this thing on the ground over here. It's not too bad.
3.
Here, come through.
There you go. Guys, look how bare from underneath here now.
She's just hanging out. Not much left.
What else we got? We gotta pop the axle out, right?
Got one out. We're not even gonna take it out of the hub.
That one there. And we'll probably leave the front pipe in place.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too much in our way.
No, so a few more bolts. I think we're ready to go.
Not bad.
Come down. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna come down.
Yeah.
It's gonna slip off. Be careful.
I got you to slip the stuff.
Okay, it wants to
got it.
come down.
Oh, she's coming to earth. 2, 3. Yeah.
Let's go right here. Right here. Okay.
Ready?
All right, so here we have our ACT complete clutch kit. Pretty nice, lightweight flywheel, heavy duty pressure plate. The customer opted to go with better drivability than the 6-puck sprung, so he went with the full-faced one. The issue with that is that he's not gonna be able to run it at the full 500 horsepower potential, which I don't think he's worried about that. It's a little bit too much for the kind of racing he wants to do. And on top of that, he wants to maintain the drivability. So this will be perfect for daily driving applications and be able to handle more than the factory one. On top of that, this whole unit is much lighter than the factory unit. It's very nice, comes with a complete kit, new pilot bearing installed on it, new hardware that you need to run because the flywheel is a different thickness, mounting hardware for the pressure plate, clutch alignment tool, lube for the splines on this, and a release bearing and fancy stickers. What more could you ask for? So also, for as far as install instructions go, you scan this with your phone and it will bring everything up that you need.
Boom, right there.
all the instructions, PDF form. So that's pretty cool. We got everything set up. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and install the flywheel. We're gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite on the threads. It's just something I like to do, keeps me a little bit more sane. We'll torque it down, get everything assembled, and then oh, I forgot to say, the customer opted to go with the factory release bearing. Not that there's anything wrong with the ACT, he just felt like it was a better option for him to go with the factory one. So that is gonna be here tomorrow. So we're gonna go ahead and mount the clutch up, then we'll have everything installed on the car tonight. All right, so we got the flywheel all torqued down and we're ready for the next step. That's gonna be putting the clutch disc in. We have the clutch alignment tool that came with it. Pretty cool. We'll take it, put it in like that. Now we're gonna install the pressure plate and torque down all the bolts on here as well. And just like I said before, I like to put a little blue Loctite on everything under here. It's not easy to get to, and if anything comes loose, it's gonna cause a lot of damage. I just call it a little bit of insurance. That's the Loctite. So we're on to the next part. All right, so now it's time to get the transmission ready to go on. So before that, we're gonna put a new release bearing on here. We opted to go with the OEM one just because we know what should I say? The quality of it a little bit better than the aftermarket. Not saying that the ACT one is not good. It's just been something that personally we like to do over here. So we're gonna swap out this and clean everything up and then re-lubricate it with some super high temp urea grease here, and everything should pop right on. We're also gonna apply a little bit of lube to the dowel pins so that everything slides on a little bit easier and comes back apart better when if it ever needs to come back off again. Let's go. All right, so we got the bottom end completely put back together, suspension, everything's torqued, tightened, and put in place. Now we're gonna work up top. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put our transmission mount in so we can get our engine jig out of the way. Then we're gonna get onto our cooling system, which is gonna include the spoon thermostat, which we'll get to first since it's right there. Then we're gonna go ahead and put our KoyoRad radiator in, and then we'll go back to finishing buttoning up everything up top. It should be pretty quick from here, reverse order from what you guys already saw us do. So let's go ahead and start cracking it out. All right, so now we have both of the radiators next to each other. And the really nice thing about these, you can see some of the differences. Of course, it's a full 2-row core, aluminum end tanks, and the actual size of it, it's much bigger. Your coolant capacity is bigger, and the ability to cool is much better. This will dissipate heat at a higher rate, keeping your coolant temps down. Not to mention, you're not going to have failures like you will with overpressuring or any kind of plastic failures from rot or anything like that. And the good thing about the KoyoRad is that all of the mounting is there to take the factory fan units. You don't need custom fans, you don't need to do custom wiring. Even has the bung here to put the ECT number 2 sensor in. So I have it on my car. That thing runs great. The coolant temps are noticeably lower, even on my gauge, compared to what the actual numbers are when you hook the computer up. This is a solid upgrade, especially when you're putting a big old intercooler in the front. You don't have a whole lot of room for the air to travel through. You got a condenser, intercooler, and then your radiator. This is a must if you're gonna drive your car hard and aggressively. I like it. There's gonna be one in my NSX soon. There's one gonna be in my Civic. There's one in the Integra. So for me, this is a big must. And let's go ahead and swap everything over. All right, so we got almost everything back together. We have our battery in, we have all of our piping, charge pipe, our new radiator hoses, our radiator in. Now, what we have to do is add the fluid to the transmission. It's real easy. We get to it right from this bolt here. Yeah, it's a little tight. I think I need a bigger bar. Now we can get and put our MTF fluid straight into the transmission. Then we can install our air box back into place, and we're almost done with this baby. right, so we got coolant in the system. We're bleeding the air out of it right now. After this, we're gonna do an alignment. Just take a quick ride around the block, make sure the clutch engagement's where it's supposed to be. We can't go too far. We don't have the front end on it because we're waiting on Brian. It's the story of my life here. But everything went pretty smoothly, and this is just the finishing touches of this part of it. After this, it's all on him. Me and Mike are done. We got the back all dialed in. I just got to do a slight adjustment on the front toe. Then we're ready for a test drive. And then the long wait for Brian. Trust me, I know. I know.
All right, so we just took it for a quick test drive, and Drive, what do you think so far?
I think that I wish the clutch was broken in, ready for me to give her all the beans, but we're gonna leave that for the customer to do. The engagement is very nice. It honestly feels almost identical to stock in the total feel from driving David's car. Almost exactly stock feel to it. And but I'm sure that it's gonna rev a little bit faster because it is a whole overall lighter clutch setup than the factory. But for this, the drivability is not sacrificed at all with this clutch. And lucky enough, it seems like our engagement point is right where we need it to be. Very good. People don't know how to drive. We're in Florida.
Hey Brian, so real quick here, so we're all done with the mechanical stuff, and I'm just walking back here just to see how you're doing. And obviously John got some concern about getting some of this stuff done back here.
So obviously John's not man enough to come back here and check up on me, right? So I get it, John, it's fine. Let me tell you what we're doing, John. This is a fine art, fine craft, not a nut and bolt operation here. We're actually sanding down the rear bumper here, and this is something that you're gonna see on the next episode, so make sure you tune into that. But I'll give you a quick little recap here. So this is a gel coat, and this needs to be fully sanded before it gets its primer coat. That way it doesn't peel, chip, or anything. We have our foundation for our fitment and our foundation for our following processes of primer and then base coat and clear coat. So make sure you tune into next episode, because on next episode, what we're gonna see is this rear bumper, the front bumper prep, all the test fits. And then I told you guys earlier that we're gonna be doing the whole front end with the new hood and blending the fenders and a lot of other work. So you're not gonna wanna miss it. But for you, John, make sure you tune in too as well, so you can see all the hard work we're putting into this same vehicle. It's not a quick operation. Guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode. We look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. This is Brian from AHC Garage. We'll see you guys later.